intended.
So these ones are the lovely socks knit with love from a fan.
All right.
Ooh, those look good.
5.64 pounds.
Finally, after testing over 50 types of socks, they've got the data they need.
So here's something crazy. Out of our top 4 contenders, 2 of them were long socks and 2 of them were short socks. So it's looking like fabric is much more important than length. Who would have thunk?
Now, what we also found was that leg hair was a fairly big factor in making it harder to pull the sock off. In most cases, the smoother leg had less resistance.
But most importantly, the wool knit sock is the sock of least resistance, requiring only 5.6 pounds of force to rip it from a bare leg.
So, the combination of variables that makes for the best sock are smooth leg and non-elastic woven woolen sock. That's going to be your best sock for trying to knock your socks off.
Coming up next,
This is the moment of truth.
were the fans right? Versus Sir Isaac Newton. But for whom does the bell toll?
These 2 pieces of clay tell the tale. This is the clay compressed at speed 1x. This is the clay compressed at speed 2x. Now, if Jamie's right that 2 cars hitting each other at speed x is equivalent to 1 car hitting a wall at speed 2x, then this is what the clay is going to look like when we smash 2 cars into each other at speed x. If the myth is true, this is what the clay in those cars is going to look like. Which is it? I quite honestly have no idea.
This is the moment of truth. You ready to go? What are you doing back there?
I'm ready. I'm going to cut from top dead center so that the amount of force on both is the same.
Okay.
Here we go. 2 cars smashing into each other at speed 1x. In 3, 2, 1.
The clay catastrophe goes under the hammer. And judging by first impressions, it looks like the fans may be onto something.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the compression I can see from here does not look like no 2x speed hit.
It looks like a 1x speed hit.
It looks a lot closer to a 1x than a 2x, but let's do the measurements. 1.54. 1.28.
The results are in. The 2-car test clay is almost identical to the clay from the 1x tests, and nothing like the 2x tests.
With all the variance in all of our tests, one thing was really consistent, was that the 2x speed hits looked a lot like this, and the 1x speed hits look a lot like this. And our head-on collision, it looks like this.
So where are we with the story?
Well, the hammers and clay seem to be saying that it's looking pretty good for the myth, that 2 cars hitting each other at 50 miles an hour might actually be equivalent to 1 car hitting a wall at 50 miles an hour, and not at 100, as you previously stated.
What do you want to do next?
Next, I want to smash some cars.
All right, then.
Yep, although the impressionable clay supports the fan theory, will that be true when they test the metal of actual automobiles
Here we are.
at a very special location?
It's a platform 120 feet tall just for dropping stuff. This is a motorized steel barrel just for strapping down a car and turning it upside down. I'm not sure what this one's for, but I'm pretty sure I could come up with something cool to do with it. Where am I? I'm in Arizona, in the middle of 150 acres of pure awesome. This is pretty much what I would design as my ideal playground. It's a test facility designed to break things, smash things, make them fail, and analyze the aftermath. This is one of the test facilities owned by Exponent Systems, and today they're going to help us smash some cars.
And first up to feel the crash force is this.
So this is our car.
This is our car. We're going to smash it at 50 miles an hour into a wall.
Well, let's get started.
All right. How's all this going to go down? This is a 1,280-foot long crash rail. It has a track embedded in it and a cable that pulls a car along that track towards the impact spot.
These 2 V8 engines, which have about 800 horsepower between them, pull this cable, which pulls the car up to the desired speed.
When the car gets to about here, the cable's going to release it, so it's traveling only under its own momentum, right into this big steel thing. It's at this point that we'll have a complete picture of what happens to a car when it's going 50 miles an hour and comes to a dead stop by crashing into a wall.
It's not just a picture they'll be getting. Jamie has also added some high-tech trickery to capture the force facts.
There we go. Inside the car, underneath the back seat, is mounted a block of accelerometers that measure deceleration of the impact in 3 separate axes of movement. That information is sent back to a data logger that's mounted in the back of the car. It records all that information. It's kind of like a black box.
This crash is basically a data point, one of 2 that we will obtain in order to correctly analyze our head-on collision. Careful viewers will note that in the full scale, we're following the same experimental procedure as we did with our hammers and clay. We think it has a nice symmetry. Shall we log the pre-crash length?
Sure.
15 feet.
All right, then.
All right, the cable's ready. Come on in.
With the length logged and the black box engaged, the car is ready to meet its fate, slamming into a solid steel wall at 50 miles per hour.
All right, this is 1 car into 1 wall at 50 miles an hour. Take it away.
Okay, Bob, we're ready for off.
The V8 engines roar as they spin the cable. And the car gains speed till it's holding at precisely 50 miles per hour. And then plows headlong into a wall of steel.
Oops.
I hope they're insured.
Yep, it's a car crash, I think.
Yeah, I'd say what happened here is this car here hit this wall. There.
It's a spectacular smash. The force of the impact crunched the front of the car like a car hitting a steel wall at 50 miles per hour, leaving it 3.5 feet shorter.
11 feet 7 inches.
But of course, that's not the only impact stat.
What say we find out what the G load was?
These guys are downloading the data about the crash right now. Okay, here's the stats on that crash. This car hit that wall at 50.7 miles per hour and took an average of 58 Gs in the longitudinal direction. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that when we smash a car into this wall at 100 miles an hour, the G load is going to be significantly higher.
Well, luckily for us, the only way to confirm that is more car carnage.
There was no way I was gonna do it, and you did it without complaining. If you want to see what Buster did, go to discovery.com/Mythbusters and check it out.
Could a punch ever be so powerful it knocks your socks off? The fans say yes, as long as it's the right sock on the right leg with the right punch.
Oh, got him in the...
The Mythbusters have the sock of least resistance sewn up.
Those slipped right off.
So next they're finding Buster some real legs.
Now, last time we did this experiment, we used these feet. Now, you felt like they didn't have the same kind of resistance that human skin would have. So I've casted up my foot. And now I'm going to try different materials to see what kind of material is as close to human skin.
Tori's used plastic, ballistics medium, foam, and lambskin leather to find something that simulates a skin-like surface.
Oh, what is that? This feels like somebody uses lotion.
Carrie likes the lambskin.
I really think this is going to be the winner because it really just feels the most like skin, which is probably because it is skin.
And after a quick run of tug tests on the sock puller, it turns out her instincts were flawless.
Yes, 6.25. This is the most like human skin.
The leather leg, complete with articulated ankles, has an identical sock resistance to Tori's waxed leg, making it perfect for testing.
I've been working on my yoga. I think I'm getting pretty good.
And now that Buster has 2 left feet, he's cruising for a bruising.
Looks like the Bionic Man.
The team have a whole range of punches to throw.
It's like assembling an old friend.
But first, they're starting with a familiar enemy, Nitro Punch.
Now, I originally built this nitrogen cannon to fire a grappling hook from a moving car. The first time we tested it, it flew off the table like a rocket. The second time we tested it, it punched a hole in the wall. That is the power of the nitrogen cannon.
But before nitro is unleashed, Grant's devising a system to get the drop on Buster.
So this, my friends, is the laser trigger. It's got a beam right here and a sensor up here. When I break the beam,